Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of What I Watched this past week. Thank you for your patience. Last week I didn't check in because I did not really watch any movies the week before that I can remember. I was kind of burnt out from the Halloween thing, and I just kind of decided to take another week off. So anyway, hopefully you went back and maybe watched some of my other videos or something like that, or enjoyed other people's content. There's so much cool stuff on YouTube. Yeah, it's just great. So this week I'm reviewing 5 movies, or talking about 5 movies. One, two, three. 3 of them are Christmas movies. So if Christmas is in your bag, you're probably not going to be too excited about this video. But I'm just rebooting my computer here. I apologize for that. But yeah, I wouldn't say I'm feeling like overly Christmassy, but definitely around this time of year I start to, well, I've got my Christmas tree set up beside me with the lights on, but I haven't put the ornaments on. I'm waiting till probably next or this coming weekend to put the ornaments on. I'm kind of like, I like to not rush into it, and then I prefer to keep my tree up well into like February and March, just because I like coming home and putting the Christmas lights on well into the dark months of the year. I know a lot of people, they put it up, right after Remembrance Day and lose it right after Boxing Day, but I'm just not just not that style. So I can't really, I don't have anything to be Christmassy about. I have a box of Kleenex with like a penguin with a sweater on in the winter, and I have this crappy, it's actually, I bent the top over to fit it on the screen, but this is like a little tiny Christmas tree with lights on it, which I inherited a couple of years ago. So apologize. My computer decided to restart just as I was getting ready to do this video. So anyway, all that said, I am getting a little Christmassy feeling, and when I got my box out with all of my ornaments in it, like I do every year, I pack away my Christmas movies with my Christmas ornaments, so that every Christmas it's kind of like a little surprise, and I'm like, oh yeah, I picked that one up last year and I forgot, and so it kind of adds a bit of excitement to it. Plus, I don't really watch Christmas movies any other time of year. So without further ado, the first movie I watched this past week was Arnold Schwarzenegger in Jingle All the Way. This is the Family Fun edition, though I'm not entirely sure. I think I said this on my when I picked this up in my thrifting haul. I'm not sure what the Family Fun part of it is. There's like a behind the scenes featurette, a making of featurette. I did watch the extended director's cut. I'm not sure. I think it's just an edition, but of course they put it on there to make people think they're getting something extra fun at Christmas. But anyway, I did upgrade my DVD to Blu-ray a couple months ago for this film. I found this sealed for $4 at Value Village, and I was very, very happy to do a little upgrading. Or was this one of the ones I didn't have? Maybe this is one of the ones I didn't have, but I do always seem to manage to watch this in some way every Christmas. It's kind of a guilty pleasure, I guess. I know it's not a great movie. This is a family comedy movie from 1996. It was directed by Brian Levant, who also directed Problem Child 2 and the live-action version of The Flintstones. This was also produced by Chris Columbus, who directed Home Alone 1 and 2. He also directed Mrs. Doubtfire and a bunch of the Harry Potter movies. So this movie was like in pretty good hands as far as like the people behind it. Oh god, that's not going to work. I also have a hot cup of coffee. It's a very it's not cold here today, but it's very blustery and rainy. So I decided to have a little cup of coffee as I went along. This movie, of course, as I mentioned, stars Arnold Schwarzenegger. It also stars the comedian Sinbad. It also stars Phil Hartman, rest in peace, who I think this might have been his last on-screen feature-length film appearance before his untimely death. This also stars Rita Wilson and Jim Belushi as sort of the bad guy. The budget for this film was between $60 and $75 million, which at the time, 1996, that was big money. And the box office was approximately $130 million, though I'm sure they did lots of sales for home video and all that stuff. This movie's kind of, I don't want to say cashing in, but drew inspiration from the Cabbage Patch craze of the early 80s, as well as apparently the Power Rangers craze in the early 90s. Parents trying to run out and get these toys for their kids for Christmas. And I think I read that Brian Levant or Chris Columbus, one of those two, actually experienced a similar thing with the year before, was when Toy Story came out, the first Toy Story, and there was a Buzz Lightyear doll, and apparently it was really hard to find that one. And so one of those guys had like a real life experience with this, trying to find this toy at the last minute, which is what this movie is essentially about. A dad forgets to buy a toy for his kid, goes out on Christmas Eve day to try to find one of these toys, just quickly discovers that this is the most popular toy of the season, and it's this mad rush. Arnold Schwarzenegger fighting Sinbad to find the last Power Man doll. Power Man? Is that what it was? I gotta look that up. I don't remember. It's actually, it's not on the cover. It's weird, but, and the little kid here, I forgot to mention his name. That's, oh dear, what's that boy's name? Oh my God, they don't list his name on the credits. It's Anakin Skywalker from the Star Wars prequels. But yeah, so this movie took a lot of inspiration from the craze of these toy things that came out at Christmas in real life, and like the crazy things people did to get these toys. Filming took place in Minnesota for 5 weeks starting in April of 1996. Critics slammed the film for its wooden acting, lack of plot, and failed attempt at satire. It currently holds a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 5.7 out of 10 on IMDb. My thoughts on Jingle All the Way, again, it's a guilty pleasure. I know it's not a great movie, but I watch it every Christmas. I've been watching it ever since I first saw it back in the 90s. It's, Arnold Schwarzenegger in comedies is not really my thing. I prefer him in like action movies, but he's pretty good in this. Phil Hartman, of course, is Phil Hartman. There's a little bit of cringy stuff in there with Phil Hartman that even watching it to this day, I'm like, oh God. But I mean, this is 1996. It's a different time. It's, I guess it's like trying to make fun of this craze of toys at Christmas, but they actually produced Turbo Man dolls. Turbo Man, that's what it is. Not Power Man, it's Turbo Man. Power Man is a heavy metal group. They actually made Turbo Man dolls in conjunction with this film and sold them at stores. I think they made like a couple 100,000 of them. And so some people were criticizing it for that, saying like, well, your movie's literally an advertisement for these dolls. And then a couple years ago, they reissued them. And I know that was like a hot thing with movie and toy collectors to get one of these Turbo Man dolls. So it kind of like, I don't know, it did have a message there, which is like, obviously commercialism and Christmas is terrible and it's gotten really out of hand. But then at the same time, it was like, I don't know. I don't want to give away the ending in case you haven't seen it, but I mean, it sort of plays into that too, that craze. So kind of a weird movie, but I enjoy it. Usually I either watch this or National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation when I'm wrapping my presents for the upcoming Christmas. So I've already watched this year, so obviously it'll be a Christmas Vacation for when I do my wrapping, which should be soon, hopefully. Just waiting for that paycheck. But yeah, this is a fun movie. If you're just looking for goofy, slapsticky, Arnold comedy, Christmassy vibes, there's a reindeer in there that's pretty funny. But yeah, be aware there are some kind of creepy moments with Phil Hartman, which is kind of weird because I don't associate Phil Hartman with being creepy towards women. But anyway, that's that. I don't know if my friend Christina's watching, but she bought me this mug. So shout out to Christina. My favorite mug currently, I do go through mugs, but I kind of rotate them. And I actually do have a Christmas mug, so I should probably dig that out. But yeah, Jingle All the Way, recommended. If I was to give it a rating, probably a 3 out of 5, maybe a 2.75 out of 5. But again, I thoroughly enjoy it. The next movie I got up, so as far as thrifting goes, thrifting was very sad this past week. I did not pick up much, but I did pick up this movie, which is my next movie that I watched. I picked up this really cool 1986 what is it, MGM United Artists VHS from 1986 in pretty nice condition. When I found it, it was all covered in dust and it looked really nasty. And I actually put it down and picked it up about 2 or 3 times before I settled on buying it, because I already have this movie on DVD, so why would I need this? But look at this packaging. It's so cool. Popped the tape in when I got home, and it plays like a charm. And it's one of those ones, you know, I've commented on this before, even though this is one of those short videos. It's got a little bit of weight to it. You know, those ones, they're so solid and they always play so well. The picture's always so clear. So, yeah, so I picked that up. Here's one of those cool embossed cases back when movie companies actually cared about physical media. But yeah, I put this on. This is, of course, the animated TV special from 1966. The synopsis: a grumpy hermit hatches a plan to steal Christmas from the Who's of Whoville. I don't think I have to go into great detail about this movie. I feel like pretty much everyone's seen this by now. This was directed by Chuck Jones, who, of course, is famous for Warner Brothers cartoons, Looney Tunes. And I learned doing my research for this review, he also animated the opening sequence in Mrs. Doubtfire, the pudgy and grunge cartoon at the beginning of Mrs. Doubtfire. He also created that, so I thought that was cool. I did not know that up until today. This is based on the 1957 book of the same name by Dr. Seuss. And the voice of Boris Karloff is in here as the narrator as well as the Grinch. The special completed production in a year. So this movie's only, how long is it? It's like 26 minutes, but it took them a year to make. So there was a lot of care put into this back in the late 60s. It originally aired on CBS, the CBS network on Sunday, December 18th of 1966, 4 years before I was born. But of course, it went into repeat every Christmas on TV. I think there was a period of time where it wasn't, and then it came back. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I know it quickly became like an annual holiday favorite, and it's been broadcast over like several different networks as the ownership of it has changed over the years. In 2004, TV Guide ranked the special #1 on its 10 best family holiday specials list. It had a sequel, or a couple sequels. One was like Halloween is Grinch Night or something. I've never seen that. It apparently isn't quite as good as the original, or the Christmas one. Of course, remakes came. There's the Jim Carrey, of course, live action version, and I did actually rewatch the animated one from 2019, the computer generated one, last night. So that'll probably be in next week's reviews, but it was pretty good, actually. I liked it. I loved the background in that movie, the way they designed or built the CGI of Whoville was like really, really beautiful and cool. Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes and an 8.3 out of 10 on IMDb. Again, this is another one like Jingle All the Way. I watch this one every year, and I've had this on VHS and DVD over the years, and I always watch it every year. Of course, when I was younger, I definitely watched it when it was on TV. And, you know, I've watched some people talking about the old days in the 80s and that. And it was really funny because back then, like we didn't get a VCR till about 84, 85. So those years before, you had to look up in the TV Guide or wait for the commercial, like Grinch Friday night at 8. And you would have to be home at that time to watch that or that show or that special. So I remember, like, you know, specifically, like, you know, sitting on the couch at like 7:30, waiting for 8 o'clock to come so I could watch my annual Grinch story. So yeah, it's always been a favorite of mine, and I think, you know, most people would say it's a favorite. How are we doing so far? I'm rambling a little bit. I do apologize. I hope this video is not too long. The next movie I watched was another Christmas movie. Yes, I watched It's a Very Merry Muppet Christmas Movie. Look at this. I just actually upgraded this to Blu-ray from DVD. I gave the DVD to my sister as just a gift. She does like the Muppets as well, and So I found this on Blu-ray and I was like, I'm going to upgrade this. I'm going to hear something clinking around inside, so I don't know what that sound is, but sometimes you get movies and like the spindle in the middle is broken. I hate that. Here's some Blu-ray ASMR. A broken piece of plastic, but yeah, I don't think I didn't grow up with this movie. This movie came out in 2002. The synopsis for this film is Miss Piggy, Kermit, and the gang take on a stingy, I thought that said stingy bank owner played by Joan Cusack, who is threatening to turn their beloved Muppet Theater into a tacky nightclub just before Christmas. This was directed by a person named Kirk Thatcher. This was his directorial debut. He went on to direct some other Muppet stuff, including the 2021 Muppets Haunted Mansion short special, which is on Disney Plus. Not too bad. Not one of my favorites, but it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I am a sucker for anything with Muppets in it because I grew up in this. I was born in 1970, so I was prime audience for Muppets when it came out in the late 70s. Of course, and I watched Sesame Street before that, so I do have a soft spot for Muppets. This isn't the only Muppets Christmas movie. There's also a Muppets Christmas Carol, and there's another one where they go to, I want to say they go to Fozzie Bear's grandparents' house or something. I forget what that's called, but I do have that. I'll probably will watch it between now and Christmas. But this stars David Arquette, Joan Cusack, Matthew Lillard from the Scream movie and the Scooby-Doo movie, William H. Macy, and Whoopi Goldberg. This was the first Muppets production without the involvement of veteran performer Frank Oz for some reason. I don't know if they had a falling out or if he just decided not to be involved, but this is also the final Muppets production before the characters and franchise were acquired by the Walt Disney Company. There's lots of funny cameos in this movie, including Carson Daly, Kelly Ripa, Molly Shannon, Triumph the Insult Dog, and the cast and crew of Scrubs, which was really funny, because back in those days, I loved Scrubs. It was one of my favorite TV shows. There was apparently a cameo by Snoop Dogg, but it was cut from the movie, so not sure what the story was there. But yeah, Molly Shannon was really funny. Triumph the Insult Dog, of course. This is a scene where Kermit's trying to rally his celebrity friends to try to help save the theater, and like Triumph the Insult Dog is like, sure, I'll help you. No, he starts laughing. He's like, no way. But the scene with the cast and crew from the Scrubs is really funny. The Scrubs from Scrubs is really funny. Zach Braff and all those folks. Yeah, this has an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb. Like I said, I didn't grow up with this. This was a later addition to my collection. I think I got the DVD a couple years ago, watched it for the first time. I thought it was okay. It's not super amazing. It was a made-for-TV film, so maybe the budget was a little less than some of the big budget Muppet movies, but there's a little shot of the crew there. Of course, Pepe is in there. Joan Cusack keeps calling him PP, which is a funny like running joke through the thing. Yeah, there's lots of charming things in here. One thing I'm noticing, and you guys can... The thing I'm noticing with a lot of Christmas movies is quite depressing. I've watched a few others like streaming, and I watched this one. It was Elmo Saves Christmas. It was a Sesame Street one. I was like holding my head with anxiety at the end of this movie. He wished that it was Christmas every day, and then by the end, everybody was like had bags under their eyes and like hated Christmas, and it was so stressful to watch. And I realized like, oh my God, all Christmas movies are like kind of sad. There's usually like this, of course, resolution in the end, but it's this, I found myself feeling so anxious. I don't know if it's like anxiety or I just be like so upset by some of these movies. There's an Arthur Christmas, an animated Arthur Christmas, like Arthur the Aardvark. That one's so unsettling too. It's these ones where somebody buys a present for somebody and like the present breaks or it gets lost or Santa Claus doesn't get the letter and then the person doesn't get the gift. And I just hate that stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't like it. But I suffer through these for your enjoyment. But this is another one where they're going to lose the theater and everybody's really sad. And there's a bag of money that they eventually raise to save the theater, and they let Fozzie take it to the bank, and Fozzie loses the money. And I'm just like, I'm on the edge of my seat, like, oh my God, like I can't handle it. So, but yeah, it's pretty good, but I would still prefer the Muppets Christmas Carol, which I will be definitely watching in the coming weeks. The next movie I got up was maybe not I can't remember if it has Christmas in it or not. I get these mixed up sometimes, but the next movie I watched was The Golden Compass. This is a family adventure movie from 2007. The synopsis is, in a parallel universe, young Lyra Belacqua, I like saying that, journeys to the far north to save her best friend and other kidnapped children from terrible experiments by a mysterious organization, which I guess in the books is a reflection of the Catholic Church. So we'll get into the controversy about this movie in a minute. This was directed by Chris Weitz, who also directed About a Boy, Twilight Zone, The New Moon, Twilight Saga, The New Moon, and he also was a writer on the Star Wars, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. This movie, The Compass, stars Nicole Kidman, Sam Elliott, Eva Green, Ian McKellen, and Ian McShane. It's based on a 1995 novel called Northern Lights by Philip Pullman. Excuse me. Oh, no, this is the coffee. The budget was $180 million, and the box office was approximately $372 million. The rights to the film were snatched up by New Line after the success of the Lord of the Rings film series, which I'm also, I've been talking about this in some previous videos about how I love that sort of like Lemony Snicket and movies like this, Harry Potter, which of course I don't really like because J.K. Rowling's a huge transphobe and she can just go to hell. But that era of like 2000 to 2010, there was so many great like dark fantasy family children's movies. Hugo, maybe a little bit, but there were a lot that fit into that thing. And I grabbed this because I thought, oh, this is kind of like in that Lord of the Ringsy sort of, thing. Cool cover. Just noticing that it's kind of shiny like that. So yeah, this one, there was that sort of popular time period where a lot of these movies were coming out. This is the reason I watched this. And I've totally lost my train of thought there, but apparently a lot of religious groups were decried the film and tried to form like boycotts against it, because I guess in the book this organization, I forget what it's called now, but they're like, it's kind of like it's not so covertly disguised as the Catholic Church. And so I guess probably the book came under fire, and then when this movie was about to be made, there was all this big backlash. I don't remember anything about it because I wasn't paying any attention to this movie. Did I also mention that it has what's his name in it? What's that guy's name? Oh, Kathy Bates is also in here. Oh, and Daniel Craig is also in here. That's because I just saw him on the back here. James Bond. So yeah, apparently there was a bunch of boycotts, and they were trying to say this movie was terrible for kids, and that it would, if kids saw the movie, they would then go read the book, and then the book would be even more like anti-religious and stuff. So I don't know. These people get a life. This movie received mixed reviews from critics, a lot criticizing it for trying to cram in too much in the film, in the runtime, and not matching some of the drama that was in the book. I have not read the book. I'm not a big reader, so I don't care. But yeah, apparently it didn't have a lot of the stuff that was in the book, and it added some stuff that wasn't in the book. So it's an interpretation, let's just say that. But Golden Compass currently has a 42% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb. I didn't mind this movie. I love Nicole Kidman. I've always loved Nicole Kidman. She was great in this movie, I thought. The CGI is definitely like 2007. This was an Academy Award winner for Best Visual Achievement in Visual Effects. This was a pretty nice addition that I found. I found this for, I think, $5. So I decided to add it to my collection. I'll probably rewatch this down the road. I do really love the creatures in it. Each character in the movie has this sort of demon that is like their sort of like soulmate in life, and I think it's when you're younger, this little sidekick that you have is like a bit wild, and then as you get older, it kind of like calms down. Maybe that's like a commentary on like your playfulness as a child versus an adult or something. But yeah, it's a cool fantasy movie if you like that kind of thing. And I'm guessing most people that watch this are probably, the Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings type fan. What's on the inside? Oh, look, there's some artwork on the inside, which is quite cool. Totally. Oh, that's wait. Oh yeah, that's when the two bears fight. That was kind of a cool scene. And there's the lead actress, and I think I forgot to mention her name, but she's really good in it too. They don't list her name. That's weird. Okay, I don't see her name on the credits, but the young girl that was in the film was very, very good in it as well. Oh, what's the other one? Chronicles of Narnia, like that kind of thing. Just a good, like, shut your brain off fantasy adventure movie. And yeah, I would recommend this if you're looking for something along those lines. This has, it comes with a booklet as well. Let's have a look. If you guys like this kind of stuff, I always dig these inserts. So you can get gifts. You can get a plushie of the bear. I actually wouldn't mind that. It's plushies of all the characters, I see. And then it's in conjunction with World Wildlife, worldwildlife.com. So I guess it was like a fundraiser kind of thing for saving animals. What else? You can get a watch for $145. Like a pocket watch. And an advertisement for Journey to the Center of the Earth in 3D, which is a movie I've never seen. There's also an ad for The Last Mimsy, which is probably something I would watch in this realm. But yeah, kind of cool. So The Golden Compass, yeah, I would recommend this if you like fantasy movies along those lines and you're looking for a little bit of escapism. But bear in mind, the CGI is a little dated from that time period, but not bad. And like I said, the big bear creature in it is great. There is some sad stuff in it, so if you're looking for a kids movie with no like sad, deathy type things, you might not like it. Anyway, and finally this week I watched and picked up the Blu-ray of Beetlejuice, or Beetlejuice 2. Not a big fan of the cover art here. I thought it was very lackluster. I don't know why they made it so small. I think they could have blown this up a bit, because we don't really need to see I guess there's some of the minor characters in the bottom there, but I wasn't impressed with the cover. But yeah, I did pick this up from Walmart this week. As you guys know, I don't usually buy new movies that much. I usually thrift for them, but I did want to see this again. I saw this in the theater in August or September, whenever it was, and I did like it at the theater. I thought it was really weird. When I remember coming out of the theater with my sister, and I just said, that was a really weird movie. I think different from the original Beetlejuice. Some of the thematic and tone of it was similar to the first one, but I thought this was a very strange movie. Rewatching it, I felt a little less weird about it. I could see more of where Tim Burton was going with it. Of course, this is a dark fantasy from this past fall. The synopsis: after a family tragedy, 3 generations of the Dietz family return home to Winter River. Still haunted by Beetlejuice, Lydia's life is turned upside down when her teenage daughter Astrid, played by Jenna Ortega, accidentally opens the portal to the afterlife. This was directed by Tim Burton. I don't have to explain what he's done, but this also has Michael Keaton returning as Beetlejuice, Winona Ryder returning, Catherine O'Hara returning, Justin Theroux, Jenna Ortega, and Willem Dafoe in probably the standout role of this film. The budget for this film was $100 million, and the box office was $451 million. So no problem greenlighting a Beetlejuice 3 I don't know, but yeah, Willem Dafoe outstanding in this film. Apparently, when the first film was such a huge success back in like what was it 1990, they were the who was it? Was it Warner? Yeah, Warner Brothers greenlit a sequel right away. They were like, okay, and there was like 3 different scripts. There was one where Beetlejuice goes to Hawaii or something, but all those ones just sort of failed to come to fruition. I think in like 2011 there was another sort of attempt at bringing it back, and it wasn't until this past year that they finally got around to it. Jeffrey Jones is not in this movie. He played Winona Ryder's father and Catherine O'Hara's husband because of things. And but what's really weird is they left him out of the movie, but he's like this big part of the movie, which I cannot figure out. It's like, okay, this guy's a creep, obviously. Sorry, Jeffrey, but from what I read, and I'm thinking, okay, you just say he died and you leave it at that, but they say he died, and then there's like an animated clip of him in the airplane getting ready to die, and there's like a headstone with his face on it, and like just constant chitter chatter about Jeffrey Jones, and I'm like, I'm not sure. Why not just have him back in the movie if you're going to do all that? You're still giving him screen time, and you're still talking about him, and people are still going to know who you're talking about. So I found that part a little weird and kind of off-putting, but Danny Elfman, of course, returns for the soundtrack, does an amazing job. Tim Burton apparently says that a third film in the series is unlikely. He said it took him, like 34 years to make this one, and he's like, so if I waited another 34 years, I'll be dead. So that's kind of a sad thought, but he said it was probably unlikely, so I don't know, but this was a huge success. And the other thing is, like, you have to say Beetlejuice's name 3 times. Wouldn't it just seem obvious that there was a third one coming, which is going to be Beetlejuice? Or am I the only one that's picking up on that? I got to imagine there's going to be some other kind of thing. The Beetlejuice currently has a 76% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb. So, pretty good reviews. Like I said, I didn't know what to think after I saw this in the theater. I thought I was okay, but it was very strange. The second viewing, which I did last week on this past week on my TV, I actually enjoyed it a whole lot more. I'm realizing that when you go to see a movie with somebody, it's a different experience than when you watch it by yourself. But yeah, I actually quite enjoyed it. The scene at the end with MacArthur Park as the song is sort of strange. I'm still trying to figure out that part, but Jenna Ortega's meets a boy. I won't tell you what his deal is, but I thought that whole thing was cool and cute. This one's a little more dramatic. Oh, here's another thing. I want you guys to comment below if you saw this in the theater. Now, in this version, there's an F-bomb and it's bleeped out. There's like a beep. I swear to God, when I saw it in the theater, there were 2 F-bombs. One that was the bleeped one, but I thought they said an F-bomb in this. And I remember coming out of the theater and saying to my sister, like, I'm really disappointed that they put swears in this movie because I don't remember that in the first one. And I didn't think it was really like necessary. So when I watched it on Blu-ray, Beetlejuice does say the F word, but it's bleeped out. But there's no other, to my knowledge, there's no other F-bomb, unless I missed it. But I found it quite jarring in the movie theater, and I was wondering if anybody else noticed that. Anyway, that's it for this week for what I watched this past week. Let me know if any of those movies are your favorites or what you're watching. If you're getting ready for the holiday spirit season, whatever, maybe you're watching Christmas movies. I am looking forward to Nosferatu on Christmas Day. I probably won't go on Christmas Day, but maybe Boxing Day or the day after. As far as movies coming out this month, though, and in December, I didn't really see much that I wanted to see. There's like a werewolf movie that looks really bad. There's the CGI type Lion King movie, which I think is like a prequel or a side story. yeah, there's just really not much coming out. I think Nosferatu is like the big one. So, and I know a couple of you who watch my channel are excited for that because you said that in the comments. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Next week on Physical Media, Alien Romulus drops. I did watch that again on streaming. Again, another movie I really did not like it at the theater, but on second watch I was like, it's not bad. It's not bad. Pretty good. So that's coming out next week, which I'll probably grab the Blu-ray of that. And then later on in December, I think it's the 19th, Terrifier 3 comes out on Blu-ray. So I'll be definitely picking that up if my local Walmart can get it. I was actually surprised we actually had movies on the shelf this week, new releases, The Beetlejuice. So, because my Walmart here is really tiny. Well, the store is huge, but our physical media section is really tiny. It's just one rack. So it's really hit or miss if you're gonna get the new releases. But fingers crossed I get the Alien Romulus and the Terrifier 3. So those will probably be like individual reviews I'll have coming up or something like that. But yeah, if you have Disney Plus in Canada, you can currently watch Alien Romulus. I actually kind of liked it the second time around, so I'll probably do a review of that in the coming weeks or months. But that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your patience as I skip a week, and hopefully I'll be back next week. I've already watched the animated Grinch from 2019 and Batman Returns and Alien Romulus. So I've already got a few in my queue that I've watched that I could talk about next week. So I'll do my best to get back next Monday or Tuesday. But until next time, take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you at the thrift store or at the video. No, I'll see you at the video store or at the thrift store or just out and about somewhere. But until next time, take good care of yourselves and your family. Don't get too wrapped up in the chaos of Christmas. Do what you want to do. Take your time. Don't go into debt, and have fun with it. Until next time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.